This story here comes from the Mississippi Today, MississippiToday.org. They have been doing an investigation on Sheriff Bryan Bailey from the Rankin County, Mississippi Sheriff's Department. He's the same sheriff of 5 of the 6 same cops that tortured in every way imaginable 2 black men in Braxton, Mississippi, Michael Corey Jenkins and Eddie Terrell Parker. This is about the sheriff illegally obtaining subpoenas, not for criminal investigations, but to spy on his then married girlfriend and another person that she was cheating on her husband with, and then her husband, and then who became her ex-husband. This involves many powerful figures in Mississippi politics today. This happened in 2014. Now, Sheriff Bryan Bailey, do you have any statements to make about this situation?
Making statements about the
Bryan Bailey. This is the same sheriff. After the goon squad ended up in jail, he said,
I've tried to build a reputation here, tried to have a safe county.
So in 2014, Bryan Bailey went to a paralegal and was going around the district attorney's office and wanted to go straight to the grand jury, passed a note that said, hey, keep this between you and I. So his then girlfriend, Christy Shanks, who is now engaged to him and is a secretary with the Rankin County Sheriff's Department, she was then married to Fred Shanks. Fred Shanks is now representing Rankin County in the Mississippi State Legislature. Sheriff Bryan Bailey did this at least 8 times. He was putting trackers on their cars. After Fred Shanks divorced Christy Shanks, Fred Shanks started going out with another Rankin County Sheriff's Office employee, Kristen Liberto. Now, after Kristen Liberto started dating Fred Shanks, Sheriff Bryan Bailey called her in his office and said, you either resign now or you're going to be arrested for time fraud. And he called her on the phone. He said, by the way, I want my tracker back. The tracker he had put on her car. Now, many people had the chance to send him to jail for a long time. This is felony fraud. The first person would be then DA Michael Guest. Now, Michael Guest, who is now in the U.S. House of Representatives representing Mississippi and is chair of the House Select Committee on Ethics. You cannot make this stuff up. I know there's a Hollywood movie in here somewhere. He recused himself from the situation due to a conflict of interest because he said he was a longtime friend, about best friends with Sheriff Bryan Bailey. Turns out he's also cousins to Fred Shanks, Bryan Bailey's now girlfriend Christy Shanks' ex-husband, now engaged to Kristen Liberto, who is executive director of Mississippi Crime Stoppers. So Michael Guest passes it on to the state attorney general. Mr. Hood never did anything. Now, either one of those guys could strip Sheriff Bryan Bailey of his certificate. Fred Shanks first notified Mr. Guest and other prosecutors of what the sheriff was doing to them in 2015. He knew that his ex-wife, Christy Shanks, Bryan Bailey had the phone company send the phone records of text messages and phone calls right to him. Now, to make this story even more interesting, this part isn't in the Mississippi Today's article, but Christy Shanks, whenever she first started going out with Bryan Bailey while she was married to Fred Shanks, she was in need of an organ transplant. She needed a donor bad. She had X amount of time to live. She finally ended up receiving that organ donor. It was from a reported suicide in the Rankin County Detention Center, the jail. She got 4 organs from this person and is alive and well. She is the current girlfriend and secretary of Sheriff Bryan Bailey. This story represents a total failure in our criminal justice system. These sheriffs just run around in Mississippi with impunity, doing anything they want to. Another little tidbit of information, Christy Shanks, her father was the sheriff before Bryan Bailey. So she kind of knows how the system works there. And of course, she's working at the Rankin County Sheriff's Office right now. Fred Shanks has told the press that the FBI has contacted him. I'm aware of a few situations that the FBI is investigating, but you'll see a lot of things are going to be going down. And I believe Bryan Bailey will go down himself. This is a very, very crooked individual. Yo, Dre, I've got something to say.
Actions of these few, this is a perfect example of why people don't trust the police. And never in my life did I think it would happen at this department.